Like that is like a dream. That was been a dream. I said in the panel, but like I'm really seeing videos of like the National playing here and so many other bands, Bruce and Bon Iver and so many bands, play at this festival. And the fact that I get to do it is it's pretty surreal.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the What Podcast. I'm Barry, that's Russ, that's Bryan. It's been about a month.
Time flies.
Since we were on the farm, and I just got to tell you, in celebration, I had the air conditioner go out in my truck, so I spent about a 30-minute drive home in 4 million degree heat. So
that's nice.
Familiar. Yeah.
That's nice.
Great to see
I would drive
you
a
guys.
15-year-old car. I'm waiting on that every day.
It was one of those, like, what just happened? Oh, this is bad. This is going to be bad. Speaking of, as only Russ would do, Bryan, I don't know about you, but I chose to spend most of my last week and this weekend in the air conditioning. My man Russ decides to go camping.
I did the exact same thing, Barry.
Oh.
But shocking news, right?
Shocked.
But no, Russ, well, it was the 4th of July.
4th of July. You gotta go out
So
and do some stupid stuff for 4th of July. So I went right back
don't
out
got to,
into the
but-
heat.
I'm still catching my breath. Stone, you went camping? You don't camp?
No,
No, I went
me.
camping.
No,
You went
no,
in the
no,
AC.
no.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
stayed home.
I thought you scared me there for a minute.
No. I didn't even go to a pool. Nothing, man.
I was having a moment. All right, so, and Russ, this is not just camping. I mean, this has become kind of a regular thing. You've done it many, many times with several people whose names will be familiar to listeners of this show and Bonnaroovians especially, and so that's why I wanted to ask. Tell us about your weekend.
Yeah, well, just to recap, we've become pretty good friends with Lindsay, who he owns some land not too far from Manchester. I won't disclose the exact location, but he's got about 12 acres. And when the 2020 shutdown happened and Bonnaroo was canceled, he was one of the ones that said offered up his spot. He said, "Yeah, y'all come." Bring your campsites and we'll get a stage together. And so we kind of threw our own Bonnaroo together in 2020. Did it again in 2021, because a lot of people were en route to Bonnaroo. And so, yeah, we've gotten to be pretty good friends with them. And, Daniel and Charlotte from the Roo Bus and several other people have managed to stay in contact with them. And we've all gone out there a few more times over the last couple of years just for, like, this one was the 4th of July, just, low key.
Have they
just kinda show
dubbed
up.
it anything? Is it Lenzaroo? Is it anything cheesy or cool or dumb? Has it got a name?
We call it the other farm because Ryan,
Farm.
built a little sign that kind of looks like the other, the other stage
right.
sign. He said
Cool.
he built it to look like the other farm, so that's kind of what we've dubbed it. But
This is going to shock you, Bryan. I've been there.
Really?
I did the overnight. I got drunk off my feet.
Well, what else is there to do?
yeah,
Well, with who all? We were there with Brooklyn. You was Charlotte and Daniel still up? Mitchell was there. Mitchell was pouring beer or drinks, and the Monkey Bar. The Monkey Bar is legit, folks.
Well, that thing travels, huh?
Oh man, it's legit. There was a bunch of us, and
We talked about it. It's like a tiki bar on the beach, except it's in your backyard if you need it. It might be taking donations that come to a backyard near you.
oh yeah. We all
It's
put
like a food truck.
we ponied up, to pay for the supplies and everything, and it's legit. But it was a blast, and what a beautiful piece of property, and that's why I
sure
wanted
is,
to bring
yeah.
it up. It's
Richard was there. Richard's part of the Monkey Bar, so he was there. His girlfriend Jessica and me and Lindsay. So really, just
Is there
the
any
four of us.
water on the property? Lake, river, stream, anything like that?
There is a creek. We could set out in the creek. We've done that. But actually this weekend we went kayaking. There's a little river. I don't remember the name of it, but a few miles down, Lindsay got his dad to help transport the kayaks and everything, dust down there. We did about 9 miles down the river. It took
Jeez.
4 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't nothing.
it's awesome, Bryan. If you ever get a chance, it's really cool.
Yeah, we were talking
In
about
theory, I believe you.
Yeah.
In theory.
Look, I went. What else do you need to know?
I mean, that is a testimonial that matters. It definitely
I had a
does
blast.
matter.
And I was sitting here this weekend thinking Taco's down there having a good time. I thought
Yeah,
about
we talked about you because that one time you came, it was you and me and Lindsay and I think Daniel were up late. And you told some story that just had us rolling on the floor. We were dying at how funny it was. And we all woke up the next morning, and none of us, including you, could remember the story you told. We were like, Barry, what was that story you're telling? It was so funny.
Story of my life.
No idea.
Yeah. If only I could remember.
If only you could remember. Take that on the road.
I get it, though. I do have some running jokes with a few of my not so outdoorsy friends. Whenever we see people who travel to go camp, or travel to go get on a lake, or travel to go get on a stream, or travel to go look over a bluff, or I could keep going. We have all of that here where we live.
Yeah.
It's all already here.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Why did you travel? I get it's friends. But still, you traveled
gorgeous.
so far to go do all the things Chattanooga is most well known for, at least in the 21st century.
And we're still talking an hour's drive between here
it's
and
close. I
where
get
Lindsay
it.
is.
I'm being me about it, but yeah.
No, you're right. This is one of the most outdoorsiest outdoors places is Chattanooga. And
Asheville or some of these
Why would you go
Carolina
anywhere
cities.
else? Yeah.
They think they got all this. They ain't got nothing that we got.
No.
They don't
I
got
agree.
anything. Then they just don't know if they think they
People
do.
don't understand, and they don't understand.
I don't appreciate it nearly as much as I should for being here for 35 years.
Did Lindsay keep all his clothes on? You
He
don't
did
have to
this
tell
time,
too
yeah.
many secrets. Okay. All right.
Was the moonshine flowing? Was the moonshine
was flowing. Oh yeah,
Of course
I brought some leftovers from Bonnaroo, and we had a good time. Richard, in fact, brought a little projector and a big screen, and we set that up Saturday night, and we actually watched the recap of the Post Malone live stream.
Nice.
Somebody put that on YouTube, and so we watched the whole Post Malone.
So it was the whole show.
Yeah, which was good for me because
Was it impressive watching it that way?
Yeah, I mean, because it was, fully produced Hulu stream, and which is good for me because I didn't see all of Post Malone. I left after about 3 songs to go get in my spot for the Mars Volta. So
okay, that's right. That was
rewatch
Friday.
That.
Right.
That was Friday. Yeah. So yeah, people positioning had to come together. That's a quick transition I'll do here if we're ready to do that.
Well, let me just jump real quick because I know we want to move on, but this is part of the reason I wanted to bring it up and why it's relevant, and we don't just care that Russ had a great weekend. It's, again, this whole connectivity, and I don't mean that as flippant as it sounded. It's the fact that these are people you probably didn't know 5 years ago.
I'd never heard of a damn one of them other than through all this. Yeah.
And now all of a
that
sudden
first
we're camping,
we talk every day. Yeah. That
it's so
first
cool.
mini-roo, Daniel sent me an address and just said, "Hey, show up here." I didn't know where the hell I was going. I was like, I don't know if I'm in the right spot, if somebody's going to shoot me or, so I just showed up and
It has that feel,
met
man.
all these people.
You start
gotten
leaving roads
lost.
and the roads and roads. It's out there.
I've gotten lost
it's out
taking
there.
the back way over the mountain years ago. Not anymore, I know it now, but off the mountain to the back way to Bonnaroo. And there's been a few times, I'm going back 15 years or so ago, where I didn't have a phone with GPS. And deliverance was in my head.
Yeah,
I was
there's
worried.
banjos.
Like, there's no cell service. I don't know where I'm at. It's the middle of the
No,
night.
there's no
And
cell
I
service.
live like an hour away. Like, what's
Yeah.
going on here?
And you
Yeah, it's
pass
banjos.
just rows and rows of corn. I mean, it's nothing but farm, rural.
So pretty.
Just
It
nothing.
is pretty.
It's very pretty. Yeah.
But those folks don't cotton to stranger just driving up that long driveway. So, yeah. I get it.
No,
But,
I mean, you get going down the wrong road, you end up on someone's property that you're not supposed to be at. Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
sometimes
either
those
going to
dumb-
feed you or kill you.
Sometimes those dumb signs you've seen at the Buc-ee's or whatever that says something about, I can't remember, but we'll shoot you if you come on our lawn. But it's supposed to be a joke. Those aren't always jokes.
Yeah.
It ain't a
They're
joke
either
out
going to
there.
feed you because mom and them are already eating, or they're going to kill
Yeah.
you.
Plenty of biscuits and
But I just wanted to say it's part of the
roast beef left over.
People don't understand how much this thing has become a year-round thing for so many people, and that's part of why I want to talk about it.
Yeah, what
Yeah,
we
it's
need
so
to
true,
do
yeah.
sometime down the road is have a gathering, a round table, maybe way into the off season when we don't know what else to do, and find all the different people who did those satellite roos, especially the weather year, especially the weather year, because 2020 we all knew was coming all year long if you knew anything about anything. That 21 year, right? Yeah, 21 year. We found out all together 5 minutes before we were supposed to go, and so that dynamic was so wild. I went to a place called Valley Vibes here in town. Most people locally wouldn't even know what it is. It's the same thing. Everybody there had their Bonnaroo wristband on, and it was its own little satellite party. Those were happening all over the Southeast. That would be a fascinating dive down the road. We
did a live show at the Moxie and had a couple from Indiana, right?
They were in
that's
town.
Right.
Was that the first time we met Zach? Actually met Zach?
I think so. No, Zach was there at the first Bonnaroo.
I don't know. Every time
we did.
He showed up at the Monkey Bar this past Bonnaroo, and I turned around and he was like in my face, and I said, "You're a freaking ninja."
Yeah.
He's just there. I love that guy. All right, Brian, what were you going to say? I interrupted you.
No, I was just transitioning to my first note that I made here for this week. We're still in the middle of doing some recap of the festival very loosely. We're not going show by show, line by line, because it's actually the coverage this year. This is a side note from anywhere I was planning on going. Wasn't really that good. And I noticed a lot, and I don't know if that's just they've cut down on the media outlets they've allowed. They've let us stay, so clearly they value somebody. But I didn't see near as many that I've seen in the past from Spin and MTV and the usual suspects, Rolling Stone, some of those. I didn't see near as many, and I wonder if this had anything to do with it, because I was trying to find some more comprehensive recaps of the festival just to get other people's thoughts and ideas. And then, I kind of stopped at one of them. If I moved so quick, we're recording on a different day than normal, and where is it? Well, I could go on about the Consequence guy who, in the headline, said, "I'm never going back."
Yeah.
Didn't even leave any room for suspense on this one. Now, it was actually an okay written article. I'm not trying to be a hater. Even though they could have used us as a resource, or I don't know where we stand with them. Right. Anyway, then another one from EDMidentity.com. EDMidentity.com seems like a place you should probably get some good information. Bonnaroo fans brave heat for 22nd festival. Well, it's the 21st. So, I'm just little frustrated with some of that. So I didn't find a lot of recap to use as informational. So I was just going through things that I remembered, and one of them was the Post Malone show, which I know I mentioned on our quick, nothing, 90 minutes, but when we're going through a whole weekend together, we moved quick. And that Post Malone show, I still find, I wasn't prisoner of the moment. It's one of my favorite shows I've ever seen, partially because I was so surprised with how much I liked it. And I don't remember, because I also did a local recap where I might have talked about it a little bit more. Forgive me if I'm repeating myself, and I know we don't have the exact same viewers and listeners every week. But I loved it, thought it sounded great, and the production was amazing. But he seemed wasted from the jump. Drunk from the jump. And friends of mine that I was with, that I've mentioned a few times, just turned into very good friends. It's the same thing we were just talking about. These are now friends. They're from Knoxville. These are people I've never known before, and I've talked to them ever since we got back. And they left because he's annoying me because he's drunk. And I was like, is this – because I didn't know any better, except for I watched him throw back Dixie or solo cups, for the more modern way to call it, a beer over and over again, and he was doing a ton of the I Love You Man style stuff, a whole bunch in between songs. And someone posted on Reddit just the other day, was it me or did Post Malone seem kind of pathetic up there? I'm only read 2 lines from it. Said he kept repeating himself and would go on and on on tangents about how much he loved us all. And I was like, that's what I kept gathering. I was like, why won't this guy shut up? The I Love You Man stuff. It said, then he had played the songs while during the recording and the band playing, where he just danced around like a fool and got drunk. And then it had a much more than that. And I thought, it did look like that. But the
It did.
overall production of the show was so stellar, and I didn't know any better. Like I didn't have anything to stack this up against, so I wasn't sure if others thought the same thing. But it looks like more do. And did he look drunk on the video?
Yeah, I was going to say, let's go to the tape. What'd you
Yeah,
see?
we got
Right?
it. Yeah.
Throw the flag. Let's check the tape.
Yeah, that's
Under the hood.
all that checks out because we did watch that whole show, and yeah, I mean, he did come off kind of repetitive when he was doing his little segments between songs, and he was, you motherfuckers this and motherfuckers that, which I don't care, but it just gets old.
He's got a mouth on him. That's for
he's
sure.
got a mouth, and that's fine. But no, I think bottom line, he did deliver. That show really did deliver, despite what state he was in.
See,
but you're right.
agree.
The production was, and I think the production carried a lot of that. I mean, he had
I do too.
Cello players and violinists, and he had a whole band who were incredible. That drummer was great too, and so whether he himself might not have been up to par, it was still a great show.
And he brought out Billy Strings.
He did,
which seems like that should have been the biggest story of the weekend. And I maybe it was for some circles, wasn't so much in mine. I thought it was the most boring part of the whole show. I just didn't think it fit in well. His shows are so choreographed, like from one song to the next. That pyrotechnics was something to be seen. I mean, that seemed like something that should have been going on at the end of a week-long celebration of something. That was huge, and I wonder if you threw in a more organic moment, like bring up Billy Strings to fiddle pick his guitar like a madman on some really slow, boring Post Malone song. If the organic nature of that didn't make it just didn't work as well. And to me, I thought that was by far the most boring part of the show, and it seems like that should have been the talk of the next week or two. And I might be overthinking it, but I didn't leave. I didn't leave. I watched the whole thing because I enjoyed it. I wouldn't have stayed if I didn't. I guess I will stay and watch a car crash. But that was not a car crash.
No,
that was not.
I teased you forever about that.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Even if you're in it, you won't stick around.
I know.
Russ, anything else? Because I was going to ask about the pyro. There have been some people say, why didn't we have more fireworks? And I don't know for a fact. Is it because it was too hot, too dry? I mean, it seems like we have had fireworks Friday and Saturday. Sunday, I don't actually remember because it's late, and I'm sure Manchester wants it shut down. But it does seem like there's always one big one, but this one was on Friday, right?
This was on Friday, and it was, you kind of think of the big pyrotechnic show at the end of the festival closing it out. But no, this was Friday night, and I mean, pretty much from the second he got on stage, it was,
it was nonstop.
And it wasn't just fireworks. They had, canisters igniting fire up on stage. Yeah.
Fire on the stage, yeah.
It's huge. It was everywhere.
And Cage and they doubled up on some of that. Cage used some of that fire the next day. But Saturday night, I was there for all of Cage and all of Chili Peppers, and there was not fireworks at all. So I don't know if that's just what Post Malone wanted. That's what he did. That's what they paid for. That's what they signed up for. And then Sunday night, I mean, I know the Reddit threads think we're the biggest losers ever, but I didn't see the Right Said Fred show. I mean, Fred Again show. On Sunday night, and I don't know if there was fireworks or not, but I know many times in the past there has been. But I believe, Barry, you'll know this for sure, and maybe you would too, Russ. McCartney was on a Saturday.
Oh yeah.
And that was one of the bigger fireworks shows of the last 10, 15 years. That was on a Saturday. So I don't know that I would say there was so many on Friday. Maybe that was all,
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to ask. Probably shouldn't even bring it up that way. I don't like to ask a question we don't know the answer to, but we do know it was dry. We do know it was hot.
Well,
it was.
And I'll save all my fireworks discussion for my weekly show coming off of the 4th of July. I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah.
I especially in conditions like that. Now, at Bonnaroo they clean up after themselves, and I'm not worried about that as much of it. But
Yeah, we don't-
boy, it was something to see though, and it added to the show.
It sure was,
It
yeah.
added to the show.
I agree.
It absolutely did. But let's do this real quick before we go away from that. So the rumor, I don't think we talked about it much on this show. The rumor that Steve-O was going to, the jackass Steve-O from the show, was going to get
Literal
his
jackass.
face,
Yeah.
a penis, tattooed on his face by Post Malone on stage at Bonnaroo, right? Lord Taco, right? We all heard
Oh,
this
yeah,
as a
yeah.
rumor of something that might happen.
It
Yep.
happened. It wasn't on stage. They did it backstage. Wasn't televised or anything. I think the story got put out there, and it got
turned
way out of
into a
hand.
big fake, not real story. I don't even think it was done backstage. I think it was just done like the day before somewhere else. It did happen.
Okay. Yeah, it did
Steve-O
happen, but-
posted a video on it. Try to find a link to that somewhere. You can see it. It's there.
I don't know if we can show that. If it's
It's
Oh my God.
it's not. Well, it's exactly what he says it is.
Yeah.
But
We
I
might
was
get
actually talking
demonetized.
to a friend of mine who's a tattoo artist who I work with. He just happened to be around when I was looking at this, and I said, "Did this come across your algorithm anywhere as a
Yeah.
tattoo guy?" And he hadn't seen it, but he's very aware of Post Malone, and I showed it to him, and from Steve-O's YouTube channel, and he's like, "Okay, yeah, wow, all right, I didn't see that." He's like, "Man, they could have that lasered off in a matter of a few minutes because it's such thin. It's done in the tiniest, thinnest line." I don't know. Steve-O doesn't have much shame, so don't know that he's going to have it lasered off. But he said if you wanted to get that lasered off, that would take less time to get rid of than it took to put on.
I'm sure. I was just upset because that was what me and Barry
You
were
were
going to do
already-
at camp this year. I know. They stole our idea.
We were matching. They were going to get yours
Yeah.
this way, and mine was going to go that way.
I know.
Yeah.
Damn it. So,
Every time we moved our eyebrows, it was.
As you might guess, thought it was the dumbest sounding thing I've ever heard and wanted it nowhere near my Bonnaroo, and I'm very happy that it came nowhere near my
truly
Bonnaroo.
don't understand it. I got to interview Steve-O probably 5 or 6 years ago. He came to the comedy club here, and he was great. He was completely sane and sober.
really
and
smart guy.
Super smart, and
He just plays a dumb guy on TV.
yeah, and he's
Yeah.
made a career of it. And then this
Sober
comes
guy
out.
too, by the way,
Yeah.
these days. Very, very, very sober guy.
And this comes out, and I mean, Bryan, you're very upfront about your sobriety in your drunkest day. Was this ever a good idea?
No, but we know those guys are man. Those checks cash in a very, very, very different way. And I don't think crazy and drunk, like they're not necessarily correlated. Like you can be both.
Yeah.
You can be crazy and drunk.
Usually
and-
that's overnight, and then you wake up. But yeah, whatever. Yeah,
But,
I didn't pay too much attention.
He
to
did it. It's a 6-minute video on Steve-O's YouTube channel if you would like to see it.
Okay, yeah.
And
Yay.
And it's not the dumbest looking. Honestly, it's not the dumbest looking thing I've ever seen, even though it is.
Yeah.
Right, one of those kinds of things.
well, I
All right,
mean, Post Malone's tattooed head to toe. I mean, he took
Yeah,
off his
well,
shirt
there's
halfway
that.
through that set. He's, completely covered.
God, these tattoos are out of control.
There's
He looks
that.
like a
Maybe he's got a next one that was somebody else will do, and it'll become something else, like a Lego or something. I don't become some other.
I don't know.
All right, so we're well into it, and I did want to ask, and I meant to ask sort of early on, but we jumped right in. We're a month in. This still feels like one of the great Bonnaroos for me. Everything I wanted to do, as I said, I did. I didn't do as much as you guys did. Bryan, we joked before the show, you probably saw more shows this past Bonnaroo than in the last 5 years combined, or 6 or 7.
That maybe not quite that many combined, but yes, many combined. I did pretty well this year as far as seeing some full shows. in their entirety. We got ripped for saying that walking by and taking a listen was somehow like ridiculous, but that's
Walk by
always
is a huge part of Bonnaroo.
that's always going to be a
Yeah,
part
we've
of it.
always
Give me a
done that.
break.
But the more I read, just some quick blurbs here and there were, I mean, the Megan Thee Stallion show, people, boy, you want to talk about excitement. That was later on Sunday after Chappelle Roan had really whipped everybody into a 95-degree, oh my God, heat stroke frenzy. And then there was the weather issues that only minorly messed things up. But the Carly Rae Jepsen set got cut short from what I read, but the Megan Thee Stallion one did not. And I bet that crowd was really comfortable. And it was in the evening on that Sunday. I can imagine that was one that if I saw, I would have been, okay, maybe I was wrong to dismiss Miss Stallion as somebody I should never care about, even though, what is it, back this ass up or whatever it is she does. Whatever. Sorry, I'm dumb. I don't know any of these things. But I bet I could have had fun at that one. But yeah, there was, boy, what was an, I wrote down the other one. You guys talk about him. I call him Curmudgeon, but it's not Curmudgeon. It starts with a K.
That's you.
Man. That's me.
Oh, Krungben?
Krungben.
Yeah.
That was one
Krungben.
of my favorites. I
Man.
love that set.
I haven't seen a word other than this was awesome about this band in any corner of the internet, when in a world where it's impossible to get everybody to agree on anything, it appears everybody agrees that
Yeah. I
was
love
one
it.
of the
No, you're
shows
right.
of the weekend.
They're just one of the most universally loved bands, it seems. Everybody loves them.
I
And
loved
for
it.
good
I loved
reason.
their
They're
interview
really
they
good,
did
yeah.
with us. I loved them. I've loved
That's
them
right. I
since.
forgot they were on
Yeah.
with you guys before I was around.
Yeah. His story about Paul McCartney, or their story about Paul McCartney calling and saying, "Do you want to record together?" Is, I still get chills. I can't even imagine.
I mean, I don't know how that story doesn't automatically go to the top of anything you've ever heard, no matter who you are,
Your life is
telling
good.
it or hearing it.
Life
you
is
know?
good.
Unless you've got, I met Paul McCartney, and then you story
Yeah,
top
I
at
mean,
that
it's,
point.
if you remember, he's like, he was in a church basketball gym, and then some guy said, you fucking Paul McCartney, and he's like, man, we're in a church, and I'm like, I think that's the one case where God says, you played with fucking Paul McCartney.
It's okay. This is how we talk around here.
You get a pass. Yeah.
This is how we talk around. Back in the cigar room, this is how we talk. Yeah, we don't let that out in scripture. Yeah, it's
One of my
VIP room.
favorites, but yeah. So Russ, I was gonna, ask the same question. It's a month. We were all sitting there together on the farm. This is great. A month later, how's it look? How's it feel?
Oh yeah, this is still going to be one of my top Bonnaroos for sure. I mean, just every single day just went so smooth, and we got to see so many people. And I probably saw less music than I have this year, but the shows that I did see were really, really good. I'm very happy with everything I saw.
You know that it was a little bit of a down year for Lord Taco on the accumulation of shows. If even he's getting a little heat online for, can you believe this guy?
Yeah, I
Well,
know,
and that's
I
so
know.
funny because I was very straight up. My goal was to see people, not shows, and that's exactly what I did. I saw a few. Russ, you saw. I don't know how you scorecard these things, but again, Bryan saw more than he's seen in forever. So whatever, everybody does rue their own.
And I've
way.
always been in every festival I've ever gone to, in any setting where there's live music, I am a big go to full shows guy. I like to get there for the start and finish of a show. Many people are exact opposite and like to take in 20 and 30 minutes or walk-bys or whatever they might be. As we've mentioned here, choose your own adventure, do it however you want. I love the dynamics. It's not as much as a festival set because they're layered differently. But the start, middle, and finish of a show, especially Guar, which we'll get to soon enough, down the road here soon. But the start and middle and the end, if you're watching closely, sometimes they all mean something. Not always, Not always. I don't know if a Blink 182 show is any different in the middle, end, or beginning.
Right.
Maybe they are. Maybe I'm being a jerk about it. But many times you see a show and they layer out to where if you didn't see the beginning, you might miss a little nuance later on. And that's why I didn't leave Post when I had a handful of very pretty girls, mostly, and they were and we were having a great time, and they were going to T-Pain, and I didn't really want to see T-Pain, and I'm like, we're in the best spot you can be. We're already
Right.
here. And once upon a time, I would have followed the trendy crowd and just, and done that. But in this case, I was like, I got to finish this show. I started this Post Malone show. I have to see how it ended. And then also, just another quick thing about the Post show, since we went back there real quick, was I noticed that afterwards he went down and signed countless autographs
Yes.
and
Oh,
took
yeah.
Cool.
countless selfies, and we'll try to dig up a few of these courtesy of whoever we steal them from.
Yeah, that's all that. Yeah, he did, I think, 3 encores, which was pretty much expected. But yeah, he jumped right down into the pit, and I mean,
It
signing
was
everything. And,
Cool.
It was
Yeah.
extensive, and I don't care if he was drunk and I love you, man, and it up. That's a really neat thing. So everything about that show made me have a respect that I never thought I'd have for Post. And that's also a product of seeing the whole show. Getting there, sticking it out, understanding what was going on, and then understanding and appreciating how it ended. Couldn't have got that if I just showed up for 30 minutes and then went to T-Pain. I wouldn't have gotten
You're
that.
right. Mm-hmm.
How much of that is a change, though? Because I mean, there's a lot of people like to go and hang out at a stage for the vibe, and that's the whole thing about the other, right? The other we know is sort of EDM, and it's a vibe, and it's a place where you can literally stay all day. We can say the same probably now about We're in the Woods, whereas, I mean, for my first 10, 15 years, the walk by was as much a thing as anything. I mean, I could probably count on one hand, maybe 2 sets that I've seen from beginning to end on purpose. Just because, I mean, Childish Gambino, still one of the best sets I've ever seen. Paul McCartney, of course.
2019 maybe for
Yeah.
Childish.
I mean, that was powerful. What he did, one man on stage. Sturgill Simpson, the same. So to your point, Niles Rodgers. I mean,
I
there
think it
were
just depends
full
on who
sets.
you're asking.
Well, that's
on
what I
this.
guess I'm
Yeah.
saying, but I don't remember. The idea that the walk by is now not a thing. I don't know when that happened. It's always been a thing.
2 really good walk-bys for me. I did mention on this show. I'll just repeat it: is Cigarettes After Sex and Renee Rapp.
Japanese House for me.
And
Super Jam for me.
Cigarettes After Sex, I knew immediately that this is what this was going to sound like the whole time. And I'm happy to at least, there they are. Sounds good. See you later.
Exactly.
Renee Rapp, I do wish I could have seen more. I thought Renee Rapp and Chappell Roan were on closer to the same thing, just out of ignorance, going into this Discovery season and into the breakdown of the festivals of the festival day by day. I thought they kind of had the same message. They're on different planets, but they're still pop, and they're still kind of, I'm angry at you, pop. So I always am a little gravitated towards that. So I wish I could have spent a few more minutes at Renee Rapp. I don't remember why. It might have been going over to Post. I don't know. Like sometimes if you want to get for that full show experience, sometimes you gotta miss something to do that.
Well,
And
Can't see it all.
I was
Yeah.
going to add
And
Russ. I mean, Mars Volta, you were laser focused, right? So you had to
that's
leave.
why-
You did a couple walk-bys.
you missed a lot because of that.
I missed a lot because of that show, and I don't regret it. I'm happy with that
And you
show.
d-
That's
yeah,
when I
you
stayed
don't
at
own
the whole
apology.
thing. But yeah, no, I left Post Malone after 3 songs. I was having a good time, but I was like, I got to get right up there, and that's
my thing, yeah.
yep. And
I missed
I would have.
Black. Sorry, go ahead, bro.
I would have loved to see T-Pain. I would have loved to see Thundercat, but the Mars Volta won out.
You
for me.
were excited about well,
Yeah.
I mean, you were perplexed by that 3-headed monster, and like,
Yeah.
what have they done to me?
A lot of people were, yeah, yeah.
I'm glad that one didn't mean anything
Yeah.
to me.
So I don't know. It's interesting. Done it all kinds of ways, as we've said many, many times. I've done it where I sat and watched an entire set many, many times, and I've done it where there's somebody on all the stages, and I'm going to do a walk by, and I'm perfectly happy with that.
Well, this happened to me in 2011. I still to this day haven't seen the Black Keys, and they played our hometown here at our small clubs and our free local concert series. And they live in Nashville, and they played everywhere. And in 2011 and Bonnaroo, but I wasn't fully hip to who they were. And in 2011, that Brothers album came out in 10, and boy, that was one of the best albums of a decade. And I was like, this is the time. Well, I was positioned damn near rail on the side for a Witch stage that does not look like the Witch stage does now. Wasn't as good. It's harder to navigate for Buffalo Springfield. For Young and Stills primarily, and that was a can't miss. I can't miss this. And speaking of pretty girls, I mean, this girl from Hawaii, another one of those gone forever. And we're having a great time. She's like, all right, we got to go. I'm like, no. The show just started. What do you mean you got to go?
Yeah, that was a big one on your list.
And she was like, we're going to get positioned for Black Keys. Like, position for Black Keys? It's Buffalo.
Yeah.
She didn't care. I was like, okay. Oh, my God. See you later. I can't do it. But for them, it made perfect sense. They were only going to see the whole set if they got out of there now and got positioned. And even in my different days back then, I wasn't going to miss a Buffalo Springfield for Black Keys. Not that.
One of the one and only year my wife came was the Springsteen year, but also Elvis Costello was there with Alan Toussaint, and she just had gotten there.
I remember when Costello was there. I didn't remember that.
It was with Alan at the this stage. And, I'm like, let's go walk around. I'll show you the site, and we walk up, and it's Elvis Costello and Alan Toussaint, and she's like, okay, is that it? What's next? And I'm like,
there's not a next right now.
Sit down.
Next is stop.
Yeah.
Sit down, be quiet.
Well, in hindsight, I didn't have to get over to the Mars Volta so quickly because apparently I could just walk right into platinum.
Well,
Little
did you know you were the platinum king.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about platinum right now, or we want to save that one?
Well, we touched on it last week.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it.
Yeah.
We can go. I'd like to talk to some if we get some more.
Brad and Corey on.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to them about it because I think we all agree it didn't exactly work, and we can talk about what didn't work about that later on.
Yeah, there's plenty to talk about.
What I do want to mention real quick, and the picture's loaded up. You can throw it up here for everybody to see this beautiful shirt, Russ. I don't buy generally my whole life. I have been a buy from the bootleggers guy. The official merch store has never been a place I've shopped at from any event I've ever gone to.
Shout out to the Jello Man.
I'm a little different now. I sometimes do like some of the official merch, and I will occasionally take a look at it and maybe purchase something, but usually not. This year, a friend of mine got one for his wife who wasn't there, and he was just picking up as a gift to take her back with her. I don't know if it's unisex or not. It's kind of got the rainbow colors on the sleeves. It's kind of like a soccer jersey looking thing.
Cool. I know the one.
Oh, okay,
and of course he was like, well, I don't know if you'd like this with all the rainbows. He's one of those guys like, shut up, man. I don't wear rainbow stuff. Get out of here. Yeah. And so I texted his wife the other day. I said, I'm on eBay. I'm on the official store on Bonnaroo.com. I haven't gone too far into Reddit yet, but I can't find this shirt anywhere. And on Sunday, I had it in my mind, I'm going to go buy this shirt from the Superstore. There's two of them, spots in Centeroo where the official Superstore is. I'm going to buy it. And I found it at the first one. They had a medium and an extra large. It's a $40 shirt. Medium probably wasn't going to cut it. Extra large was going to be more of a sleep, not wear around a lot shirt. And if it's real big, I'll cut the sleeves off, make it a, sweat it through, go outside shirt. But the sleeves are one of the coolest part. So it's like, I can't spend $40 on a shirt. That's just cool. So I'll be able to buy this when I get back. No problem. $40-$50, don't care. It's a month later. I can't find it anywhere. So if you look at this shirt, if you didn't see it, and please contact me somehow
it's
a
a
way
please.
I can get this shirt.
It is
I
a
will
very
pay
cool shirt.
anything for it. I will pay anything for it.
It's a very
So-
cool shirt.
There
There
you
was
go,
other
yeah.
shirts that were fine, you know, and I'm not huge on owning something to everyone I went to. I used to be, but I still am a big fan of the Shakedown Street bootleggers. Some of my best. I'm wearing it right here. My Titans Dead shirt, bootleg right out of a lot somewhere. I'm usually a fan of that stuff, but boy, that shirt was beautiful.
Like I said, shout out to the Jello Man. He's out there selling bootleg shirts. I got one from 2023 that's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I need to find the Jello Man next time. Maybe he's got a rip off of this one, but it is a very great looking shirt, and I am shocked that they have not put it up for sale. And as of today, 2 hours before we did the show, I went to eBay to make sure, you know, the comment wasn't, "Hey, you idiot, it's on eBay."
I got it for
not on
$10. What do you mean? Yeah.
Today, it's
No.
not on eBay. If you want to go put yours on there now and make me look dumb, do it, and maybe I'll buy it. As long as it's a large. As long as it's a
There you
large.
go. Tweet at us if you know where to find this shirt.
Please,
Comments at
do,
thewhatpodcast.com.
I love that. I love that thing.
All right. I promised I'm not going to cut you guys off. I'm not, but just to move a little bit forward, our guest.
Yeah. Guess we
we
should mention that, huh?
You know, when we go to Bonnaroo, my goal anyway, a big part of it is to actually work and do band interviews. And I know, Bryan, you're the same, and Russ, you have certainly jumped on that bandwagon with both feet as far as recording and getting these things done. And we had a great.
We genuinely enjoy doing it.
Love it.
We do,
Love it.
yeah.
It's my favorite. Thursday was a big day. We did Happy Landing, Gwar, Say She, and Michigander. And today we're going to play you the Michigander audio. It's a pretty quick 10 minutes, and you'll hear why. He is one of those guys that just says yes whenever someone asks, and so he was very busy that day. He did an interview with students from Belmont and other colleges around the
Glad
area.
you brought that up.
Bonnaroo University. He performed. He did untold interviews. In fact, he was scheduled for us. And when I, walked up and said, "Hey, I'm, Barry with the What," he's like, "I'm getting ready to go eat. Can we do it
it's like
after?"
I'm starving. I'm starving.
And I was like, "I got a bad feeling if you leave, you ain't coming back."
It ain't coming back.
Yeah.
If you give them an out, they'll take it a lot of
Sure.
the times.
And
I mean, this is a
completely
perfectly good time to transition to do that here in just a minute, because I was looking forward to that one because Brad of the show,
100%.
formerly of the show, and still someday will join us to grace us with his presence for some thoughts on some things at some point. Was really glowing
Right.
about this artist, and
Yes,
Brad does
yeah.
that for a couple of different reasons. Sometimes it's genuine. I love this band.
Right.
Sometimes that's probably on the lesser scale that's the only thing, and other times it's I genuinely love them, and I get a lot of access through them, and it creates avenues for me.
Right.
I would do the same thing if I had the
No,
opportunity, Brad.
I have said, and for people who don't remember Brad and don't know, I've always said he has two people that he likes. One is Brad, and the other is Fluid. So that's to your point,
Check the
What can
wind,
you
check
get
the clock.
me?
Yeah. And so sometimes when he tells me randomly that's not one-on-one, hey, I'm kind of like, all right, well, what's the angle here for you?
Right.
But I did get a personal note from him that was like, this guy's the real deal.
Yeah.
And you need to look, because he knows I will be the super cynical to everything, especially to him, to Brad.
Right.
Like, all right, enough.
Yeah.
Enough out of you on this one.
Yeah.
And he said, don't do that. This is the real deal.
Yep.
Look into this. Understand who he is more. And I did. And I was impressed by the things that he fed me. I was impressed by the things I read later. Y'all saw the show.
Yep.
And I didn't. And once we got in, the circumstantial situations are just all a part of this. And we didn't have things the way we wanted them. And I would love to sit down with this guy for like 30 or 45 minutes.
Yeah, 100%.
and talk stories and go way back. This wasn't really the place to do that. Plus, he had played a show, and he had just got done with this long panel with all these idiot kids. And I love you, kids, and I love Belmont, I love MTSU, and I'm glad that they're doing this for the young people in these departments in these universities. I think it's important.
Right.
But he just sat through this whole. I was in for half of it. Ugh. Another God,
he did
here
a
we go.
full
That's
set.
a great question.
He
No,
did
it's
a full
not.
set and then that. And then he had, here's me. Can I go eat?
He
I'm like,
graciously,
he was great.
graciously did it. And one of the things he said was, "I have a problem saying no."
Correct.
And by the time we got out there, we had eyes falling. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. No, he was great. And to add on.
So thank you so much for him doing it.
Absolutely. Jason, thank you. I got the same sort of message. Our Brad called me as I was driving up that morning and said, don't mess this up. Talk to this guy. He's so great. He's so nice. He's the nicest kid. And you weren't there, Bryan, Russ, I think you'll remember as we were sort of coming out, as we got kicked out of the platinum pit. You remember who was going in was our friend Ken Weinstein and all the media guys from.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we were passing, and Ken, we kind of said, hey, and he's like, I love this guy. And I said, he's so nice. And he's like, absolutely. And he's so good. So, that's one of those sort of, I've said it before, you can kind of look in the who's backstage. And if the head of the record label's back there, maybe somebody to pay attention to.
Might be
It's
might
a
be
good
something
point.
to take a look at.
See who's going to see which shows.
Who's going to see which
tell a lot.
shows, and that doesn't mean necessarily anything. If you like them, you like them. But in my universe, when you see that kind of buzz, especially for a relatively new artist, you pay attention, and so.
Well, if you guys are ready to go ahead and roll with that, we can do that. And I want to save you guys mentioning that you went to the Michigander show. And one comment from a Reddit poster that I thought was funny that you guys are going to get a kick out of, we can do afterwards.
Bring it
that
on.
we can put a pin on
Okay.
right now. I'll tease that to the end of our conversation with Jason.
Well, here's our interview with Jason Michigander. I hope you enjoy it.
Jason, Michigander.
Hi, everyone. How's it going?
Good to have you, man.
Good to be here.
My mom is a Michigander.
Where from?
Grand Haven.
Okay, cool. One of my buddies is from Grand Haven.
Where are you from?
I'm from a place called Midland, Michigan.
Okay, don't know it.
Oh, yeah, it's like middle, hence Midland.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with an easy one. I bet I've run into 5 people today who say, go see Michigander, and he's the nicest guy
Oh,
in
wow.
the world.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Am I
heard that
making
too.
this
Yeah,
up
no,
at
not
all?
at all. We
Okay.
literally heard that.
I'm
yeah.
glad that people think I'm nice.
And 2 of them run this festival.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
Apparently
yeah.
we're doing something right.
Well, I've heard that a few times myself, too.
Okay,
so you're
good.
just a nice guy, man. So if you were trying to be a rebel, asshole-ish guy, it's
No,
not working, man.
I don't do that. Did Brad tell you I was a nice guy?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Brad's
he did,
pretty
actually.
nice. Brad's a nice guy, I guess.
Nah, not really, actually.
Yeah, well,
No.
don't go that far.
Brad's in the Big Apple right now.
He's big timing us
Big
up
time,
in New York.
man.
Yeah.
I've said for years about Brad, because you know him, you'll get it. Brad likes 2 people. Brad, and the other is fluid.
And then what is this? What?
The other is fluid.
Oh, it's funny.
And he laughs. He knows I'm right. All right.
funny.
So you've had a busy, busy day. You've
Yeah.
done, and it's just a screen. This is part of why people say you're so nice. You're one of those people who people ask and you say yes.
Yeah, it's too much probably.
Probably.
But it's fine. It's fun.
Well, I just was
YOLO.
listening I was just listening to your panel with the Belmont kids, and you said you maybe shouldn't have said yes so often.
I should-
right? Like
yeah,
you're
that's
doing it
true.
way too much.
I think there's a time to say yes to everything. I think there's a time to slow it down as well. There's both
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, that
yeah.
part comes.
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
about today, and you did the thing with the kids. What was that like, and why did you say yes? Why did you want to talk to those kids?
I think it's important for people to know what a team of in the business actually is. I think you hear manager and you don't know what manager is. And I think those kids are smart and they know, but the general person thinks a manager books your shows, and people think maybe your agent is your manager. It's just good to talk to a lot of it's good to talk and like let your story be known. I think your story is the most important thing people have, and it's cool to let people hear it. And I have like the best team, so it's cool to like be around them and show them off. Yeah.
A lot of times when you do stuff like that, I don't know about you, but with me, you learn a few things too.
Yeah.
With their questions, with how you have to phrase your answer, right? So
Yes,
you get a little back.
I wasn't prepared really to talk. I realized as I started. It took me a minute. To get into the vibe of things, but yeah.
Nice. Talk about your show. Russ and I got out there to
we
see it.
saw
Oh,
part
cool.
of it. Yeah, we got out there.
It was very cool. It felt it's very special. I'll never forget it. Like that is like a dream. That was been a dream. I said it in the panel, but like I remember like seeing videos of like the National playing here and so many other bands, Bruce and Bon Iver and so many bands, play at this festival, and the fact that I get to do it is it's pretty surreal. It's
Well,
like,
I saw
it's a dream come
your
true.
one of your TikToks, I think it was, or one of the social media posts where the excitement level you had for playing this festival was very clear.
Oh yeah, this is a special one.
I mean, I saw you Lala in 21,
Yeah.
ACL in 23.
Yeah.
I mean, you were starting to hit that festival.
Those are like really special ones too.
And
Yeah.
and Bonnaroo was just one you had to eventually make happen, and you did.
Yeah, I mean, it is cool to be here, and I now live in Nashville, so I'm gonna go sleep in my own bed tonight, which is cool.
It's a great feeling.
It is a great feeling. Yeah.
Speaking of TikTok, you commented on one of our TikToks.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I was in the right algorithm of people.
Somehow you found us.
Yeah.
Russ was booking shows for us all of a sudden. I was
That's
like,
funny.
All right, that works.
That's funny.
What is it about this one? I mean, you live in Nashville, so you know about it. You're familiar. But we ask all the artists.
Yeah,
'cause
what's
this
it
one's
about-
different.
This one is different. I don't know why. It's maybe because everyone is forced to be here, really, besides unless you're staying at the Holiday Inn. There's no other hotels. And I think it kind of just feels like a whole little city. It's special, yeah. And it's just like the history of it is special, too.
I am not forced to be here. I can leave anytime I want.
Yeah. I'm forced to be here legally, Yeah.
Talk about, because you've done it. This is Thursday, so you pretty much kicked off the festival.
That's kind of cool, right?
So how was the anticipation and then the reality? Have you had time to process?
No. I haven't eaten anything today.
Yeah, you
Start-
can
I had
see
a-
him.
I
He's
had
ready
a-
to leave. We're holding him up.
I had
for
no,
dinner.
no, I had a bagel this morning, and I got here and I was like, I hope someone shows up. We're like the first thing. I wouldn't
Oh,
show up
that'd
for
be a
the
huge crowd.
It was a huge crowd, yeah. But when I'm beyond the tent into the sunlight, so they care if they're standing in the sun
Exactly.
for
Yeah.
you. Yeah, it's cool.
And
Cool.
stayed in the sunlight.
Yeah, it felt very cool.
Do you have any idea when you put your head on your own pillow tonight? What do you have any idea what's going to go through your head? Is it going to be like, damn, I got to do it and it
I'll
was
be
great?
like, man, it's over.
Now what?
Well, we hit the road tomorrow. Play another festival in Chicago on Saturday, so we're in and out for this. But yeah, that's how it
I wanted
goes.
to ask you about, you were talking about with the students about the songwriting, and in Nashville, I've learned this from other people I've known, musicians in Nashville, like kind of the Nashville way of writing,
Yeah.
the Nashville style. I don't know what they call that exactly.
I think it's like co-writing.
Yeah, and where it's almost like a job that you have to. You
Clock
kind of
in.
go to work, you clock in, clock out. Anderson
cool.
East, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he
Yeah.
was one of the guys who told me about it originally.
Yeah,
And he would talk to me about the difference.
we just
of
worked together.
just drinking
Yeah.
liquor one
Yeah.
day and then later clocking in and
Yeah.
does that cramp your style at all, or does that help? Or
No, I
is
think
it-
it's good to like be intentional and give time to the craft. And so that's what you're doing. You're honoring it. It's like your church. It's like
But what if you don't have it that day? What if you don't have that creative spark that day? Because I mean,
That happens.
You can't pump
That
out
definitely
a song
hap-
every minute just
No,
'cause
no.
you're supposed to.
well, it's a bad song. It happens. It
Not
definitely
bad.
happens.
That's a good
I mean, I
answer.
wrote 50 songs for my record, and there's only 12 that are going to be on it.
Yeah, sure.
So like a lot of them suck. I'll be real. A lot of them suck. But
It's
Well, you
interesting.
debuted a new one today, right?
oh yeah, the new one, Giving Up. That one doesn't suck. That one's a
Good.
hit.
All right.
I hope. Yeah, I think that will be a good one. I hope people like that one.
Nice. To your question, Roger Allen Wade. I don't know if you're familiar with Roger. he was talking about that Nashville way of clocking in at 8 o'clock, and he's like, man, stuff doesn't even happen till after midnight. What are you going to write about it?
He's an old school outlaw country
Okay.
guy, so
Yeah.
being conforming is
Yeah.
not something he's really into.
I like waking up and being in the studio by 11 and writing till 3 or 4 or 5. And
It's a job.
if you get one, then you get one.
It's a job.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
New record this year too, right?
Probably early next year.
Next year.
Yeah, very early next year. But yes,
I know you're going to go eat dinner. Are you going to stick around and see Pretty Lights?
I'm gonna stick around till like 8 o'clock, and then I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go sleep in my own bed. I'm gonna shower.
You got to be tired.
I'm tired.
Man,
It's been a long week.
You got to be mentally pretty
Yeah,
tired.
we just like shot a bunch of new video for the new music, and then we rehearsed, and that's all this whole week's been. And then we haven't toured or anything for like 6 months, so it's kind of like it's kind of hard to get back into it. But it's
Nice.
feeling good. After that, I feel great.
Nice.
I haven't really even got to see any videos yet from the set, so I want to go. I got to do that today too.
All right. What do you got?
Just enjoyed your set. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thank you,
That's
guys.
great.
Thanks for caring to talk.
No, man, it's good to talk to you. And,
Yeah, thank you for caring.
And I was really excited to see how excited you were to be here. 'Cause,
I'm very excited.
We're excited to be here, and we do this every damn year and bother people like you.
Not a bother at all.
And we look forward to it as much as it sounds like that you do, and that's
I love it.
infectious. It really is.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for your time, man.
Oh, thank
Thank you so much.
All right, so there you go. You can kind of see he's very kind. He's very nice. He talks about it. Bryan, you mentioned going into it. He says, I need to learn to say no. That was fun, but, what a long day for him, and can't thank him enough for doing it. But
Yeah, absolutely.
it was a great
still-
show, and really,
It
really
was still
glad we
great. And
went.
he's coming to town. I don't know if you guys saw. He's coming to
Oh, he's
Chattanooga.
coming in
Barrel House.
January. Yeah.
That's right.
So we'll have a big
gotta-
a reunion on that one, and
Yeah.
maybe corner him for
We gotta
a
do that.
longer, which I promise you he'll do.
That's a great idea.
But so let me pay off on that beginning of that tease to the commenter on. This is all paraphrase. I didn't even print it off. So one of our big critics on one of the Reddit threads, and certainly of mine, it was starting to get obvious it was getting closer to mine than y'all's. But I wasn't for sure because I'm just kind of skimming some of this stuff. And there was the Say She interview, which we had so much fun with, and I think the show last week went well. And the commenter said, quoted you, Barry, and said, by all reports, it was and I don't know if it's a correct quote, but this, all reports you had the show was great, right? And then said, oh, so they're not even going to the shows of the people they interview, which we all know is a ridiculous comment.
Right.
But the next person down, whoever they were, said, yeah, because everybody who interviews somebody reads every book, goes to every show, watches every movie, follows them around the country. Come on, man. Yeah. And that was just somebody who came immediately, and that wasn't a burner account by any of us. And I thought, so, okay, cool. Someone came immediately and spelled it out exactly.
Thank you.
And then, so I just very, very politely, again, sorry, paraphrase, but it would appear that you do not like us or our show. Why do you have so much commentary on it? Question mark. Done. Nothing more.
Hey, at least they're watching.
Well, I agree. And hello.
Even if
here
you're
now.
hate watching, you're watching.
The response was, nah, man, the other two are cool. Just you. You're a dick. And I thought, hey, all right. At least we have an understanding of where this is at. I didn't even respond because I didn't want to come across as I was being snide. I didn't want to, because if I even put a smiley face, which I don't do smiley faces, I still think it would have been thought as sarcastic. I thought it was a great answer.
It's a great answer.
Yeah.
No,
No.
just
They
you.
like the show. Y'all are cool. F you, dude.
All right. Put that on the T-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, those two dudes are cool, man.
No,
Just
yeah,
you.
I remember that
You
comment.
suck.
Yeah. And yeah, just to set the record straight, no, we didn't get to say she, and the reason was we had
'Cause
four
we were
interviews
working.
lined up
Talking to
Thursday.
Happy
I know.
Landing.
Yeah,
we
had
don't need
back
to.
back
We
to
don't need
back.
to even explain. But
Right.
yes, we were working, and that's
No,
fine,
and just the way
you know?
these things come down, you get hit up. Hey, these people are available right now. Can you do it? You either say yes and you do it, or you say no.
Yeah,
and
and
you
it's
just miss
not like wait, can we put it off an hour?
Yeah, no.
No, those are your slots. This
Yep.
is your opportunity, and and it happens
I think where I really upset this in particular person was because there was criticism that none of us saw Fred again, and
Oh, I get it.
I had mentioned that I don't know about the other guys, but I never said I was gonna see Right Said Fred. I kept calling him Right Said Fred, and I knew what I was doing, and I think that's what made him say I hate this guy so much because he knows what he's doing, and I'm sorry about that.
we know you can't see every show. And
Hey,
and
listen,
we don't
Right
try.
Said Fred is a fine enough band, you know?
If
But
Right Said
hey,
Fred were
what
there,
it-
I probably would have stayed.
I'm too sexy for my podcast.
That's fine.
Some that don't even know what the hell we're even talking about.
No.
That's so good.
Look it up. But
All right.
I think that covers most things for me for the week. I
I just want to say, and because I can't stop thinking about it, and people aren't going to believe me, but I've thought about Bonnaroo and what next year's going to look like every day since we left.
Same.
It's the stupidest thing. I've already got camping ideas and people.
I've thought about how I can improve my now badly needed camping situation.
Yeah, I
now
thought
that we
about
have
you
a
this
different-
morning. Like, I bought this great tent that I want to talk about at some time that hangs on to an easy up. So I'm going to highly recommend that. And then, we've said Russ has the bus, and then Bryan, I've laughed about it because yours looks like the display model for a tent.
It does. It looks like a cardboard cutout of a tent.
It's not even full size.
I'll send you a picture. You can post it up
It's
there.
so
It ain't
funny.
nothing to look at, man, but it keeps
I
you
got-
out of the wet.
I got pictures.
It works for you, but I was like, yeah,
Keeps
it's
you
the
out of the wet.
display model. It sits on the countertop. It's about
Yeah.
this big.
What
We
is this,
just
a
had
tent
it
for
so good
ants?
for so.
Yeah.
We had it so good for so long. All I needed was just a place to get out of the water and get out of the heat and
true.
the heat at night or whatever.
That's
But
true, and we had it good
I-
this year because of our campmates, who we'll talk about later. Even more.
I have been I've been thinking a lot about next year, and just like in sports commentary world, they do the mock drafts, and it drives some people crazy, and some people think it's awesome. I'm in between on that, but the mock posters are already hitting
Yeah.
Twitter and areas, and we way too early for that. But down the road, some speculation I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to some of that speculation. Will they keep the headliners on Thursdays, having the single headliner on the what stage? My quick answer is they would be fools not to, and Bonnaroo ain't fools, but that's my only commentary on that. Lots to speculate and have fun with months down the road, and we will do all of that because that's what we do. But we still have a couple weeks and at minimum, and we're trying to prepare a really cool Guar
Yeah.
almost full show. That's why we've kicked it down the road just a touch, because we're trying to figure out exactly how to do it. And I think once we do, I think you're going to enjoy it. If you were there, I know you'll get a kick out of hearing some of it, because there's some video out there now that can kind of refresh your memory of parts of it. And if you weren't there, I think it'll give you a little bit of an overview of it. And I hope I don't oversell that. And I'm not sure when it'll even be, but the next couple of weeks, soon enough.
Yeah, we've still got Guar, Happy Landing, and our sort of wrap-up show, I'm calling it, I guess, with 20 minutes we spent
on the
real
Rubus.
Rubus with some
A
familiar.
little bit of AC, not the best AC I've ever
but it was
been
better
in.
than
but
outside.
It's better than
Nothing.
outside.
And but some names that you should be familiar with if you listen to this show for any length, or any of the other podcasts, which by the way, go check them out. good wrap-ups from Bonnaroo, Ruham.
Bonnaroo did
Bonnaroo.
like 4
Yeah,
hours.
Yeah.
Holy hell.
I still haven't gotten through all of it. I'm getting through it, but yeah,
I haven't even
4
started that one.
hours.
He was on with the Ruham guys too.
Yeah.
that
That's
was
some
3 hours. So
Stamina, man.
Wow.
Stamina. Good on him. Good on him.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right,
And
guys.
it won't be long. We're gonna start talking about South Star as well, right? That's coming up in
Yeah,
September.
those daily lineups are out. They're
Mm-hmm.
not breaking news now. They've been out for a few weeks. I'd like to break those down a little bit for sure. That is something that I do legitimately want to attend. I don't know that I'll do it for the whole weekend. I don't know if the South Star people are going to come after me because I don't do South Star right. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. I'm going to move along. Also, real quick on a personal note, I am actually in 2 days from record day, so tomorrow from launch day of the show, headed to the Sphere in Las Vegas. Inexplicably, for a lot of reasons, it doesn't make any sense in my life to do it, but I have some great friends that are helping me out to make it happen. And we're doing 3 nights of Dead and Company at the Sphere. And I'll be back in time for us to get a show thrown together with a little recap for sure. And I hope to have nothing but great news. I feel like I will. Going to go out to the Hoover Dam for a day. Gonna, I don't know, pull a slot machine or something. I don't. The Vegas thing has never done a lot for me. But we all know who's even blinked at the Sphere. The amazing nature of this.
right.
Facility. And, if they were just playing at the Las Vegas, Dr. Pepper amphitheater,
Yeah.
I'm not going to Atlanta. I'm done. I saw the Dead on the final tour last year, and that was kind of what that was going to be. But, my friend kind of, I'll paraphrase it saying like, you want to go to this venue, right? Well, yeah, of course I do. Well, who else are you going to go see but the Dead? The Eagles? No.
Yeah.
Fish, I'm not a Fish guy, so
Right.
no, not Fish.
No.
I don't think Widespread Panic will do it anytime soon. And we can do this for forever. But the point was, what's the Dead, man? That's who you go see. And I was like, you're right. And so we're going to do it. And it's going to be Dead freaking
Excellent.
overload.
Yeah. Evan Bonnaroo
3
going
days.
too, right? Did I hear that?
Oh
Did he
yeah,
was going?
our boy Evan Bonnaroo's going, and there's almost a small specialness coming away from it now because there's this huge trend to fly to Vegas from where we live in Chattanooga because we have direct
flights.
We
yeah.
get excited about direct flights to anywhere,
Yeah.
and there's a direct flight to Vegas. So it's like go to Vegas, go to the Dead show, and you'll run into 30 people you would at
See?
the Bluegrass Festival in
There you
October.
go.
So
Right back to the beginning of the show.
yeah,
all-
so it's
all
going to be a big
connections.
time, and I look forward to reporting back.
Well, you missed a
mini
big
book report.
opportunity because they already had one guy that went out there during the Fish show, and he was the first person to rip a big bong hit in the Sphere, and he posted
I saw
video,
that.
and then of course he got banned from that and every other festival or every other venue that they own.
I saw that. They
and
rescinded
then they
that, by the
rescinded
way.
it, yeah, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
they rescinded that. That's actually in Madison Square Garden. I don't know what the overall umbrella parent company is, but that's a national company that surprise, surprise, that runs all these major venues
Yeah.
and spearheaded by people from Madison Square Garden. So it wasn't just the Sphere. He couldn't go to Madison
No,
Square Garden.
He got
couldn't-
banned from like half the country.
he couldn't go to I still call it the United Center in Chicago. I don't know what they call it there now, but the Fleet or the whatever they call it in Boston these days. The Boston Garden would be once upon a time I would call it. So it was like you couldn't go to any of these places, and then it was kind of like we look kind of silly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All he did
I
was
think it
smoke some weed and a
kinda
fish
What
show.
did he
backfired.
do wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Surprise,
shout out to that guy.
surprise.
Yeah, come to a place where we're gonna trip your brains out.
Yeah.
Don't smoke any weed though.
Are they just mad because he was first? That way,
I think that's it.
He flaunted it,
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
but I mean, so
Can
Yeah,
you
I
blame
know.
him?
He should,
Yeah.
he should get a medal. All right. Good show, guys. Enjoyed it. We still have so much to talk about. Anything
Stay
else?
tuned.
Like I
Get
said,
subscribed. Share, like, review. All
yeah, I
that
mean,
stuff.
we're back. We got a little different look in some places, and thanks for your patience if that looks different for you. And you're, without getting into the weeds on all that, but Spotify and YouTube seems to be, I mean, to me, it's the king of all viewing, and hopefully it's working for you as well as it is for us.
I'm glad you kind of mentioned, and I know this show's getting long again, but we haven't forgot, we talked about the contest.
The
about
box of junk.
Box of junk from my basement. Haven't forgot about it. Leave a memory. You can call, do I remember? 423-667. What is it, Russ?
7877.
7877.
Maybe we'll even throw a
I
late
didn't.
night.
I hadn't checked that. I didn't know if we were still doing that or not. So.
Well, we haven't talked about it in a while. Or info at thewhatpodcast.com, right?
Comments at thewhatpodcast.com.
Sorry.
We'll do that soon enough.
We'll do that. There's no
one of the
hurry. We
things-
never promised a big hurry on that. We
one
want to
of
hear the good memories.
Things I might have gotten to or was potentially going to talk about, and it just a tiniest mention was the collectibles these days of Bonnaroo is so vast. It's so vast. Like people can collect so from the we've talked about it, from the bands, wristbands, and rings and jewelry and all the stuff that's free. The stuff that's free, not even stuff you got to pay for. And I'm seeing people's like hauls on socials, like Cassie, who's on with us a couple times in the past. I'm like, wow, okay, well, you now have 500% more Bonnaroo stuff than I have over 20 years. So I'm over here like, I got a great collection. No, I don't. I mean, I have some vintage stuff that's pretty cool. But the amount of stuff that is collectible from people who are just, who are artists themselves, who give away what they do, that's made that a whole really cool aspect of the festival.
That'd be a great
too.
show. We got to find
Yeah.
those necklaces. You remember the silver 20-year necklaces that say she asked us about, right? I think Pia said, do you guys have a 20-year pin or whatever necklace? I don't know if she made that up, but
She might have made it
Anyway.
up. She was,
yeah.
she was on fire that
She was
day.
on fire. She was having a good time.
But yeah, we'll wrap up I'll wrap up a quick run at the Sphere next week, and then we'll do whatever it is we decide to do. I guess
we
we'll
won't-
probably
good,
do
yeah.
We won't box ourselves
Happy
in.
Landing, something like that next week.
Yeah.
We got lots.
Yeah. We still have plenty. All right, guys. Thanks very much. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Appreciate it a lot.
Subscribe and share and tell all your friends.